Hi, my name is Logan Bell, and today I'm going to be talking about WebRTC, which is what I'm using for my senior project. So let's get into it. I wanted to put this diagram here to illustrate the difference between web server communication and peer-to-peer communication. So on the left we have WebSockets as the example, and users are communicating with each other through the server. So that causes a lot of server overhead. Depending on how large the data is you're sending, all of that data has to be put through the server, and it can be a bottleneck in some cases, and also it can cost you a lot of money, right? You're running this server, and if people are sending large things like video through the server, then you're going to have to pay a lot more to have that running. And on the right side, we have WebRTC, which is peer-to-peer connection, and peer-to-peer connection just allows devices to communicate between each other without any middleman touching the data, getting its greasy hands all over it, maybe changing it, and we'll get into that next. So peer-to-peer, right, has a lot of advantages because the server doesn't have to manage the data at all. It's all handled between the devices, and that can be great for most cases. But in some cases, you do want to have the server manipulate that data in some way. For example, for my video streaming, I want to have the video manipulated by AI, but that has to be done on device now because it's not actually going through a server. The server can't process the data. There is no server to process the data, right? So it has to be handled on device, on phone processors. This AI model has to run on a phone processor. So that can be kind of a tricky thing to maneuver. The other thing is that it's open source, so WebRTC is. So if you ever wanted to look into the code yourself and just like make sure there's no boogeyman in there watching your data, you can always do that, and people do that. They check themselves. And also it's being in constant development by just the community. People put in work to open source for free. If you don't know what that is, that's just a little background information on that. I just thought it'd be really important to emphasize how big of a deal WebRTC is. So WebRTC is used by a lot of big companies, right? We got Snapchat, Facebook Messenger, Discord, and Google Meet here. All of these are, these are huge companies. You've definitely used at least one of these apps. Uh, and it's a pretty big deal to transfer data, text, audio between all of these, right? And the fact that they all have their hands in this in some form or another, they're all watching this code base. Some of them might even be contributing to it, and you benefit from that because they want this video streaming to be as streamlined as possible for them. So any data transfer between this, they want it to work well. So they're gonna make sure it does, and that's really great in my opinion. So again, just to kind of go over the features of WebRTC, what it really is at the end of the day is data transfer, right? You're sending data from one user to another, and this is just a simplified way of doing it without you having to deal with all this very confusing web terminology and programming it from scratch. It's more like, if you want to think of it in terms of a programming language, I'd say it's more like Python. It's more simplified. But yeah, you stream video through it, you stream audio through it, you can send messages through it. And for me, I'm doing my senior project is a app that connects users. It pairs them up into groups, and they go on video calls with each other. So video and audio are very important for me. I'm not sure if messaging is going to be important, but hey, it might be for you if you ever want to use WebRTC. So I'm developing an iOS app which uses Swift, and Swift does not have a great implementation of WebRTC, unfortunately. And you can't use JavaScript on iOS apps, as far as I'm aware. So I turned to Jitsi Meet, which is a simplified version of WebRTC. It uses WebRTC, but it's just a library that simplifies and I forget, whatever. It makes it more simple for you to develop with. And that was really helpful for me. If you ever want to use it for an iOS development, definitely recommend using Jitsi Meet's library instead of the WebRTC library. So again, You send a room code. It connects users on a server, and only that data is sent between servers. You don't have to touch the video. The video goes directly between the two users, and that's how the connection is set up. Running out of time, so just wanted to add this last point that it's really helpful. It's gonna be used for a long time. It's gonna be developed for a long time, and it's a great way of uh, real-time telecommunication across the internet for free, uh, and I recommend it. Anyways, thanks.